This is The Edge of 17, which stars Hailee Steinfeld as a high school junior who is currently going through possibly the shittiest moment in her life right now. Things are just going terribly for her. Her best friend is dating her older brother, which is not a spoiler because it's in the trailers. Life is just a total shithole. So things happen throughout the course of this movie that either she tries to do to make herself feel better, or things just happen naturally that might bring a little more joy into her life. This is one of those movies that I've heard a lot about, like a lot of positive buzz from this movie. And then I saw the trailer just once and I thought, you know what, this is actually a movie I want to see. So this is one of those few indie movies that I actually went out of my way to go see because of what I've heard, and I did like the trailers. I did think the trailers were cute, and I really did enjoy this movie. I'm actually a big fan of these coming-of-age movies, especially when they're more grounded and realistic. Not so cartoony like a movie that would usually have Judd Apatow's name attached to it, like Superbad. Which, hey, Superbad's a funny movie. I'm just saying that this one here is a little more realistic and down to earth. And that's the biggest phrase that I would use to describe this movie. Realistic. I would also use the word natural. Everything in this movie feels very natural, feels like it could very well happen, and I have a feeling for a lot of people watching this, it could very much be a case of, yeah, that happened to me. And I was actually one of those people at points. I mean, my high school life was a little better than this, but this movie has some of those moments where you think back to it when you were in high school and you're like, this is so realistic that it's uncomfortable to watch. And I think that was probably the intention, and they got that across very well. Hailee Steinfeld in this movie is incredible. The very first movie that I think everyone saw her in was True Grit from the Coen brothers, which is a really great movie, one of my favorites of the year it came out. And here, she's really matured as an actor, and she's phenomenal here. You believe the shit that she's going through, and even though at points she's a very unlikable person, almost a bitch, there are other points where you go, yeah, I don't really like your attitude, but I can understand why you're acting the way you are. And it sucks. I get it. Because we've all been in those situations where we feel like the world is just crumbling around us, nobody likes us. We've been in those situations before. So in that sense, we can really relate to her character. It doesn't matter which gender you are, you can relate to some of the scenarios that this character goes through. And it's very believable. Her relationship with everyone else in this movie is also very believable, and also somewhat funny. Woody Harrelson in this movie doesn't quite steal the show, but when he's on, he really goes to work. He is absolutely hilarious in this movie as this sarcastic, mean-spirited high school teacher, which I'm pretty sure that he would not have kept his job for that long, given the shit that he says. And that might be the most unrealistic thing in the movie, but regardless, it did make me laugh, and I really did enjoy his performance. And the dynamic between him and Hailee Steinfeld really works out. If I had a problem with this, and this is kind of a problem that I have with most coming-of-age movies, they can be a little predictable at points. There's no real surprises to be had, but as long as you enjoy the movie, that's all that matters to me. And if I had one other negative to say, Blake Jenner in this movie, who plays Hailee Steinfeld's older brother, he's kind of bad at points. I mean, he was in one of my favorite movies of this year so far, Everybody Wants Some by Richard Linklater, and he works here as a dumb college freshman, but there are points in this movie where he's just not very convincing. And then there are other points where you do buy the relationship between him and his sister, especially near the end. I won't say what happens, but the ending is where Blake Jenner really decides to pull out the acting chops. Most of the movie he is kind of weak, but at the end he does deliver. So I would say that I really love this movie. It has a very natural and realistic feel. All the relationships and situations feel real. The characters are very natural and convincing. And it just left me with a good feeling. It left me with the same feeling that I got when watching Everybody Wants Some. There are points in this movie that do feel like a Richard Linklater movie. Not a lot, but just in that very natural feel. And this is something that I would definitely recommend. I'm not going to give it my highest rating because there wasn't anything that really brought out any strong emotion, but I will say that it is definitely worth seeing in your lifetime. This is one of my favorite movies of the year so far. I absolutely love it. And to be honest, I can't wait to see it again. Although, to be truthful, after watching this movie, I realize, oh crap, I'm gonna have to deal with this when I have a daughter, if I have a daughter. So, just gonna brace for that. The day will come eventually. And that's my review for The Edge of 17. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on this movie, if and when you've seen it. And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one.